Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new here, and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build video. So today we're building in the world of Moonwood Mill, which is the world that we got from the Werewolf Game Pack, and we're building on the lot Prowler's patch. The total cost of this build is going to be 53,537 simoleons, and it's a 30 by 30 lot. Really quick, a disclaimer. We have moved, my family and I have moved. If you have seen any of my previous videos, then you've heard me mention this before, but today I'm mentioning it because we are in a new subdivision development, and there's two houses being built pretty much right next to us. Well, there's one lot in between us and the other houses that are being built, but today they're nailing on plywood, and I will obviously try and work around or work with the background noises. But just in case you can hear that, I apologize. There really isn't much that I can do other than trying to do a really good job with the audio editing. But anyways, let's talk about the build. So I have I have a couple of builds already out that are coming out, or there's one more coming out after this one for Halloween builds, and one of them was the vampires build, and then I have another one for the dark fairies. If you haven't seen either one of those, I'm going to put a card on screen so you can look those up. And there's one more coming for a spellcaster slash wizard before Halloween, or probably on Halloween, as that's going to be Friday. And I've kind of fallen into this rhythm of posting Tuesdays and Fridays. Currently, that's working really great for me. So we'll see how much longer I can keep this up. But yes, so today we're building for a werewolf. And I'm going to talk about it real quick because it's on screen right now. I was really trying to make this build look very run down, very abandoned, very neglected. And I was trying to use those life edit pieces from the Life and Death expansion pack that you can see on the floor there. I did decide to delete them, even though I loved the way that looked, but I wasn't sure. I had attempted to use them before, and sometimes they are a bit glitchy, and they kind of like come back out of the ground, even though I raised them in, or I lowered them into the ground with the tool mod. But I have deleted them. But so what I am building today, it is a abandoned, rundown, neglected car shop. That's what my idea was. At first, I was thinking about doing a gas station because we do have a few items in the life edit menu. There's, I think, 2 or 3 different kind of gas stations in there, but I didn't want to use them because they come with like the things where the gas comes out, like the handle things. I don't know what that's called. But they also come with a roof attached to it, and I had attempted it before and I didn't like how restricted I was on that roof situation. So I decided to I also then when I build, I try to pay attention to what the world looks like around me, or the world that I'm building in looks like. So I felt like a gas station next to a dirt path might just not be the most logical thing to put here, you know? So, yeah, so I was thinking about one of the other things that I had thought about was making it like an abandoned wood mill. Since we are in the Moonwood Mill world, I thought that would make sense, but then I also kind of felt like that was done before and very well by other creators. And so then I had the idea, well, what if it's a car shop instead of a gas station? Because, this is a small town, and maybe this is like a dude that lives in town and he used to run this car shop, and now it's been falling apart, and with all the werewolf situation, the whole thing going on, maybe cars aren't that big of a thing here anymore, and so it just, now it's an abandoned building. And I thought that for a werewolf, so here's how in my head werewolves work. They are very aware of the fact that they are human, but they are also a werewolf. And I always think of was his name Lupus from Professor Lupin from Harry Potter. He was such a kind guy, very sweet personality, very brave, very, very loving, took care of Harry and really cared. But he also was a werewolf, and he was fighting that. And really, there's nothing much that you can fight there. It's just who you are. And in The Sims, there is a cure for that. But I'm not sure if in Harry Potter there was a cure for it. However, so the idea was that that person is very much aware of the fact that they are a werewolf, so they're trying to hide. Maybe they're not quite comfortable with that, as there is those two werewolf packs that live in the world, and I could not tell you the names of them, but I know that there's two different packs of werewolves that live in the world, and they embrace the fact that they're werewolves. But I don't think that this werewolf does. And so that was my initial thought. And if you have watched some of my builds before, then you know that storytelling really isn't my strong suit. I love building, but I'm very creative when it comes to visual things, but when it comes to storytelling, I am not the greatest storyteller. And I do not do well with, creating lore around places or families or situations. So that kind of was my whole thought, and my whole that was the whole idea for this. So I was more focused on what this building should look like, more than what should the story be, other than this person being a werewolf who's trying to be a bit more secretive. So the shape of the build is pretty much going to stay this way. And now I'm going through the build by catalog to find things that I can place around. I did put those logs there, and there's that little crane thing. And I was thinking at first to put these shipping containers back there, just because I wanted something height, there to be some sort of height back there. It looked visually pleasing, I guess. And I'm going to replace that actually with that werewolf bar that came with the pack, that you can place inside of this rundown bus. And I think about that a little bit later. I remember that there is that thing, and I thought, oh, that's perfect, because this is a car shop, so maybe this is one of the vehicles that this guy was working on, or whoever worked here or lived here. I don't think somebody lived there. I think prior to it being used by that werewolf, I don't think anybody lived here. I think it was just a car shop. And but yeah, so I thought, well, this is another rundown vehicle that is now being used here. This was, as I was building, there was this thought, and I was like, oh, hold on, because I wanted to, since this werewolf is trying to be secretive, like I said before, I thought it would be neat to have some sort of place where he could lock himself up as a full moon approaches and he knows he's going to turn. And I know in The Sims it works a bit different. It has to do with rage and stuff, so they can randomly turn into a werewolf. But I thought that he is very aware of the possibility of turning into a werewolf, and so he might want to lock himself up. So then I thought, well, car shops always have this underground thing where you drive your car over for when they do like oil repairs, when they replace your oil and they have to drain it. You drive over this gap, and usually there's like a crate on, not a crate, like a metal situation over it, so it's not just a gap. But just for gameplay purposes, I just left it open like that. And so this is where you would pull your car up to or above that gap in the ground, and then they could do oil repairs. Well, then the werewolf used that to get downstairs, and then there's a door, and then behind that door, and this is something I'm going to be building later on, I just wanted to put it in there so I wouldn't forget, he will lock himself up whenever he's about to turn so that he wouldn't hurt somebody. And as I was thinking about those things, then in my head there was a little bit of a story that came together, but I'm not going to mention anything yet, because it really wasn't a full a full thought yet. It actually, the full story of what I had in mind came together when I was working on the inside. But I did want to say that I know that some of the creators that you might be watching out there, they are very, a lot of them are very, they have, it seems like they have a plan, like they're pulling up the structure, and then they're going to decorate the outside, or maybe they start on the inside, but there is like a step-by-step kind of process. And if you're watching my videos, then you probably have noticed that I'm kind of all over the place. Like I will be working on something, and then all of a sudden, as I'm going, there is an idea, and I just have to add that. Or I find something in the catalog that I'm like, oh, that goes really well out here or in there, or let's add this, and oh, I forgot about that, and let's add that in. So I really hope, and I think I've mentioned this before as well, but I really hope that you don't get motion sickness from my build style. But that's kind of how my brain works. My brain is not very, I can be very I am a very organized person, I guess, but I'm not, and I can make plans. Like, I'm very good at timing out things, and I think I do a decent job there. But when it comes to being creative, it's more like a process, and during that process, there's multiple things that will pop up that I can add to my build that will make it better or more cohesive, or it's a process to me. It's not like there's not a set plan other than a broad idea of what I want to do, if that makes sense. But so on the outside, let's talk about this for a second. So on the outside, I really wanted to make sure it looks run down, it looks broken, it looks abandoned, it has this feel of, maybe this is a place where teenagers go when they're trying to be sneaky, and they're, I don't know. Um, this is one of those places where you shouldn't go, but it's kind of intriguing for certain people or kids or whatever, that they want to go there because of what it is. And maybe there's a lore around it, and maybe in the town people whisper and they're like, but do you know who lives there? Like, this is still where I'm at this point in the build process. There will be more to that later. And it's not like, I'm talking about it like, oh my goodness, it's such a great thing. It's not that original. It's just that I added more story to it. So, I mean, you might love the story, but it's not like, hey, there's this massive blockbuster thing coming, huge revelation. No, it's not like that. It's just I just added onto the story. But yes, so very broken. I did like delete a few pieces of the floor here and there to have shrubs and grass come through, and it kind of been reclaimed by nature because nobody's keeping it up. But throughout or around the outside, I did add a few things, a few activities, a few things that you can do around there. So there's a big bonfire, there's a barbecue, there is a woodworking table, there's the bar, like I mentioned. Right now it's not there, but it will be there. Bar. Then there is that thing, like the rugs and the crates where you can perform music. So that's out there. I did place down the cardboard dance floor, mostly just for the fact that I liked the idea of the cardboard. It kind of made sense to me. It was like just another random thing just laying around, but you can use it as a dance floor. It works. I didn't put like a radio or anything next to it, but you could do that if you would like to. Other than that, there's that garage door that you just saw. And that one is the one that is functional, that comes from the like the creative selection, or like the creative activities. So you can spray paint that or paint graffiti on it or whatnot, and the murals, I think. I did also put the floor mural thing on the floor thing. That floor mural, where it's like taped off on like a taped off section of the floor, and then in that they can create art as well. And then there's also a planter out there, and a boxing bag. A boxing bag. Is that what they're called? You can box out there. Did I mention woodworking table? Yes, I did. I think I did. And so that's Oh, and well, there's one more thing that I'm going to be adding, but I'm not going to mention that yet because I'm not there yet. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the outside and the activities that you can do outside. Um, Now, when will I start telling you about? Nah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until you can see the moment. But yeah, so really, majority of the outside is just life edit stuff. I did add. I didn't forget a bin. I forgot a mailbox. Darn it! I just remembered. Okay, you will not have a mailbox. Well, you will. I will go in and add a mailbox. Let me write that down, actually, because I will forget it again. I always forget the mailbox. I have this little so on my desk, when I do my voiceovers, I have a little whiteboard standing here, and that has all the information on it for like as far as where did I build it, panic save. Did you see that? Yeah, there's a panic save because I keep forgetting to save, and then sometimes my game crashes and I lose everything. So that was a panic save that I apparently did not cut out. But yeah, so I have this little whiteboard and it has all the information like the world, what lot size, how much it costs, and then some notes on things that I want to talk to you guys about. And so I just added the mailbox, so I need to add the mailbox before I upload it onto the gallery. As we're talking about the gallery right now, so I always mention that there's like, I always give you guys like 2 hashtags on how you can find my builds on the gallery. So what I'm trying to say is I would like there to be more hashtags under which you could find the builds. Like this one, I'm going to upload it as, so the name is going to be Vampire Lair, but it's also an abandoned car shop, and it doesn't have to be for a vampire. It could be for anyone, really. I mean, it could be for somebody who just, lives in an abandoned place. Or maybe you don't even want to have your sim living in it. Maybe you just want to have it because you like the way that it looks, and it adds to your storytelling if you have that build in your town. But long story short, so I'm going to be adding a few more hashtags in the description, and not mention all of them because, I'm just going to mention all of those hashtags. It's not like anybody could really remember if I list off 5 or 6 hashtags. So I'm just going to put them in the description down below. And if you ever need any information on my builds, if you need to know the lot size or anything like that, it's always down below in the description. And if you have any questions, please just shoot me a comment, and I promise I will reply as soon as I can, at least. But yeah, so now we're moving on to the inside, and I did add, and I hadn't done that when I was working on the exterior, but I did add this. It's a door, and it's blocked off. It's gated. It has like a gate in front of it, and it's not functional as a door. But I added that because I thought, it's a car shop, but you would most likely have some sort of place where if you dropped off your car here, you would go in there and be like, hey, this is my car, this is what I need done. And there would probably be some sort of like an office or a reception area or whatever. So I did add that door, knowing that I would not be able to use that door as a door. But I added another door, a side door, and I figured since it's abandoned, this door was probably shut, and then maybe they're like, maybe the door that is the wooden door, maybe that used to not be used, and now it is being used. Maybe there was furniture in front of it, maybe it was blocked off, but now that is the door that they use, and before then it was the big door that is gated. But yeah, so I'm going in. You know what is really cute? And you might have known that, and I did not. When you add those spider webs, when I went in to playtest the game or the build, there's spiders on them, and I hate spiders so much. There's I could tell you some stories about spiders and me. I will not, but I hate spiders. But these spiders are, I mean, they're massive. They're more like tarantulas. So, but I thought it was really cute that I came into playtest and there were spiders all over the place. I thought it was just a decorative spider web. Again, what learned? That's what we always said in English class in high school. I went to school in Germany, and we the grammar is harder for Germans because the grammar is very different to the German grammar. So English is very different to the German grammar. And so one of the things that we always said in high school was, again, what learned. That's exactly how you would just translate those words, and that would be the sentence in German. Anyways, rambling. But yes, so that is what I was thinking. And then I hung up this picture over here, and that was kind of the first time that I thought about expanding the story into a little bit more than there's this guy that is a werewolf and he lives in this abandoned car shop. So at this point I thought, well, maybe he used to own this car shop. And if you can see it on that picture, I'm sure it's some specific sim. It might be Bella Goth. If you know who that is, please feel free to mention it in the comments. I think it's Bella Goth and maybe their son. I'm not sure. But so I was looking at the picture and I thought, well, there's a lady in that picture and a child. And maybe he used to be married. And maybe there was a child, or maybe this is not their child. At this point, I wasn't quite sure yet, but I thought maybe he was married. And maybe this was his car shop that he used to own, and he was very successful, and he was a super nice guy, and everybody loved him, and he was fair, with his pricing and, car shops, and he was a local guy, and they loved to support him. He probably grew up in this town, and so this was his place. But maybe something tragic happened, and he just stopped caring, and he just started neglecting, and he shut down his car shop, and he fired everybody that worked for him, and he kind of turned into a loner. So that was, at this point, that was the story was evolving in my head. So that was the point where I was like, okay, let's add that to the storyline. But just going in, the computer is fully functional. You can use that. I figured I just might as well use that room that used to be like the reception area or whatever. And but leaving things there, like, some things have just been left there from the day that the car shop was still up and running, and people were here, and it was like booming. And then everything stopped instantly, and nothing was moved anymore, and the money that somebody put on the counter just stayed there, and nobody ever bothered to clean it up, and the files that have all the information on all the cars are there, and everything just, time stood still in this room, and then it started to fall apart. And it probably, when you look at that picture, and then I move on to telling you the rest of the story, which I will in just a second, it maybe timeline wise, this place fell apart quicker than it usually would, and that might be due to the fact that the guy that I have actually created for this build is also a slob. So I did add, every once in a while I would add scratches on the walls, like the werewolf scratches. And now I am theoretically working in the garages, right? So this would have been a garage. And if you know me, then you know that I'm trying to build realistic things. And so this would have been a garage. That would not have been a kitchen. So I wanted to make it look more makeshift, like kind of DIY'd, maybe, that when he decided that he would live in this car shop now, that he kind of like put together some cabinets or whatever. Like the top ones he could have very well built himself on the woodworking table, and then the bottom ones were just cheap ones that he bought. And now I'm adding the bed. This bed is from the Eco Life, I think, expansion pack. And then I added this werewolf bed, and I kind of loved it. And then I thought, usually I build for single sim, but maybe I shouldn't. And maybe I should just build for a single dad. And maybe he has a son. And so then that's where that whole story came together. So what I am thinking is that this guy, and I don't remember the name that I gave him, but I'm going to put a picture up on screen for you. I have created the guy that lives here and the son, and they live here together. but I think that he was married. The dad, he used to be married, and she was the love of his life, and something tragic happened. I think maybe when the boy was maybe a toddler, because then it kind of still could be her on that picture in that entrance office kind of place. It could be a toddler. So they had this family, this young family, and they were so happy together. And something tragic happened, and she passed away. And I think that it was the kind of situation where he found her, and knowing that he is a werewolf, maybe he had just previously turned into a werewolf, and he didn't know yet. How do I live with this? How do I tell her? What do I do? How do I act? How can I fight this? Like, maybe it's just like the beginning stages of him being a werewolf, or like the first few months or whatever. And he hadn't told her yet, and then something tragic happens, and he finds her, and he is not sure what happened to her, and if he maybe did that. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to not say words that might get me banned from here, but I think that when he found her, it wasn't clear to him what exactly had happened, but she was no longer there. She was gone, and he felt this absolute guilt because he didn't know if he was the one who did that, in his rage, being a werewolf, not knowing who she was. And so he then lived with this guilt that he doesn't know. He might not have done it. He probably didn't do it, but maybe some other werewolf did it, whatever. But he does not know. He does not know who did it, and he is not sure that it wasn't him. So he is wrecked with guilt, and he is left with this little boy that he now has to raise by himself without the love of his life. And I know this is very dramatic, and I hope that I don't bum your mood. Like, I don't want to make you sad or upset or anything. I always want us to have a really good time here, but I don't know, that was just a story that came together. And like I said before, like, I'm not a greatest storyteller, but I hope you enjoy it anyway. So I'm going to move on, and if you don't want to hear me talk about it, then just mute me, and I won't be upset. But yeah, so he now is raising that son, and I think he tried to keep it together, and maybe they lived in a house before, and maybe it was beautiful, but he just couldn't live there anymore because there was too many memories of his wife, and too many things that he had hoped for and he had envisioned that would happen in the future, and that the life that they would live together. So he got rid of the house, and he moved himself and his son into this car shop, because that was kind of his escape. And also he wanted to make sure that his son would be safe, and that's when he built this werewolf jail, basically, in the basement, so that when he knows that the day is coming that he will turn, he will go downstairs and he will lock himself up, and so that he doesn't hurt somebody. And so his dad, the boy, I'm guessing he's going to be probably like 9 or 10 years old by now, so they've lived in here for a good bit, and this is the life that he knows. And I think that he probably knows that his dad is a werewolf, but I don't think that the town knows. And I think the town just thinks that the death of his wife has just really wrecked him, and that he just fell apart. But he's a really sweet guy. So yeah, I'm just gonna I think I said before I'm gonna put a picture up on screen, I'm not sure, but I will put it up again. I think he looks really sweet, and his son is a super cool little dude, and they love each other so much, and they do so many things together. And I did add an art easel in here, and I thought that maybe that's a way that he deals with his grief. When he's not turning into a werewolf, then he deals with his grief by painting and being creative. And I think his son inherited that as well. But I did add for his son something to do the chemistry table outside. So I'm not sure. I mean, I wish there was a tiny little workbench or something for kids that they could use. I don't think that kids can use the regular workbench, right? But yeah, so that was my idea for this. And maybe down the road I will expand on this idea, and maybe we will hear about them again in the future. I might have some thoughts on something else that we could do for them. And but yeah, so another thing that I did here, I did use the tool mod to rotate a few chairs so they look like they're falling over, and I'm not sure why I'm mentioning this, but at this point I told you the whole story, and I'm pretty much done with the inside. And but so there's a ladder that goes up to the roof, and I didn't put any gameplay activities up here, but you could, I mean, if you wanted to, you could add another bonfire up here, or you could add just some some music or whatever. But I wanted to make it look like maybe potentially those teenagers that I was mentioning before, maybe they sneak up here. um maybe that's a place where they go when they're trying to be sneaky, and they just go up there, um potentially. But or maybe that's where the dad goes when he just wants to be alone, and he just wants to be alone with his thoughts, and um you know but also, I did delete most of the. I always put lights in there when I'm building, but I did delete most of them and just used wall fixtures and stuff like that. I didn't want it to be too bright because I felt like that wouldn't fit the vibe, and I did mismatch lighting in here and the rusty, what is it called, sink, and the newspaper on the floor, the broken mirror, and it's just like really grungy and gross. And I mean, social services would probably not let that kid live there, but they would probably pull him out in a heartbeat, and rightfully so. But we're in The Sims, and the dad doesn't get separated from his son here, and the dad does his very, very best, and it might not be the cleanest home, but it does have a lot of love. And I think that he makes sure his son has everything that he needs. There's Other than a luxurious or very, very clean home, yes, there are spiders, but no, it's not a good situation for a kid. 100% not. Maybe he will meet somebody, and maybe that he will find a cure, and that's something I think that he's really working towards. He wants to find a cure for this. He doesn't want to live like that, but at this point in time, I don't think he is ready to go there and try to fix it. So he has his little jail cell down here, and he locks himself up, and there is a light, and so I guess when the light turns red, that's when he needs to go in there, or when he is in there. And maybe I should have put the light on the outside so that his son knows, hey, it's red, don't go in there. It's not safe. But I kind of just, I don't, there probably in reality there wouldn't be a room down here, so I think he maybe just dug it out. Or maybe it used to be there and it was just a storage room. But I wanted to make that look very run down and very like fit or suit the vibe that we have going on upstairs, and just really run down. And I put those planks there. I thought maybe that used to be a bed, I don't know, and he broke that. And then I put piles of clothing there because I thought, it's the clothes that he rips off of his body whenever he transforms, or maybe they get ripped off, or I don't know how it works when you turn into a werewolf. I've never done it, but I thought that would kind of make sense to add those to the to down there. And just cluttering up a little bit, I did have to move those oil cans a bit because they were interfering and blocking the way. You have to walk around that little drain that is down there, and so I had to move the oil can so that he could actually go into the cell. But it is fully functional. I playtested the whole build and it works. And just now I realized that I still need to clutter up that desk, and I'm going to do that now. But that's it for today. I'm going to just go around, finish this up. I hope you like my builds. If you do enjoy my videos, then please like and subscribe. It means so much to me. And if you have any thoughts or suggestions or questions, please leave them down below as well. You can find my builds on the gallery. My gallery ID is VinnasNook, VinnasNook, or you can find this build under the hashtags that I mentioned down below. And you can always find my builds under the hashtag VinnasNook. And if you need any more information on the build, it's always going to be in the description. And I hope you enjoy the screenshots, and I'll see you next time in the Nook. Bye, guys.